What's happening, you two? I thought I'd put in a word. I don't know about what because I've got nothing to say, which is a lie. But first, word about the poor audio quality. I'm having to phone this in from a lucid dream. I'm walking across some fields toward the horizon. I've dialed my home phone number, so hopefully this will be picked up on my answering machine. Because the general election, here it comes lurking, May the 7th. You're excited, and you are. And as for you, I saw you leaning the Liberal Democrats manifesto on some pillows next to your bed. I should make a proviso from the start, which is that I normally hate people who complain about politicians because it's only the same as torturing some little Guantanamo fella because he's just going to say anything to make the pain stop, or in the case of politicians, anything to be elected by some housewives. I mean, the one redeeming factor about the whole thing is that it does lend itself to having mad thoughts. I mean, you hear lots of non-minimum wage people say, oh, I quite like what UKIP say, but I could never vote for them because it's a bit too similar to the way Nazi Germany got started in 1930. And I just thought, what if you're in bed at night and it was the early hours of the morning and you hear noises downstairs and you get the feeling in your belly, grab your night vision and the baseball bat. It's a vampire bat, by the way. Creep downstairs, avoiding all the cracks, and there's this figure just crouched by your DVD bookcase, and it's Nigel Farage creeping around all the houses in Britain, in one night, Father Christmas style, but removing all the copies of Schindler's List in the hope that we might forget that it ever happened. And to make matters worse, he's also stealing all the copies of The Night Porter. And this year the child worshipping aspect has gone into overdrive, like some kind of Egyptian Stargate thing. I just thought you'd be watching TV in the early hours of the morning and there would be, there now follows a political broadcast on behalf of, and it would just be Cameron / Miliband on a stage with a kind of sci-fi life transference kind of apparatus, and in the left hand tube there'd be 3 proletariats, and in the right hand there'd be a student or some kind of slack-jawed teenager, and Cameron / Miliband would flip the switch and there'd be this huge surge of energy, and the 3 proletariats, the first 2 would die, the third would become Polish, but on the right side your little teenager has now become an apprenticed architect. So I'm definitely going to vote for that. Hello. No, I was saying Ed Miliband is weird, but not for the reasons you think. It's well known that his parents were communists, and I just thought, what if he was a SALT-style sleeper agent, but his cover of being a money-centric yuppie capitalist worked a bit too well, and on the day of the election there was just a spectacular action sequence where he was dangling from the fuselage of a plane while fighting off assassins, while simultaneously worshipping a photo of Margaret Thatcher. And in a way, I don't even mind Tory poshness, because there's an argument that Osborne needs to be pretty well educated to understand the economy, the Bank of England, all the the interest rates and everything. But your average Tory MP, they just need to do what the constituents say. Alright, I'll give you an example, and this is why James Gray MP has to go, by the way. You've got a grievance with the county council, they're stubbornly refusing to do something, which is fair enough, because we all know that the council are only interested in making themselves look busy and, making 1,000 little projects just to, get their own expenses paid. That's fair enough, you sort of expect it. But it's an MP's job to kick the door down, like Ken Forey in the last few minutes of Dawn of the Dead, and say, come on, you need to get this right. Our bus now makes a 10-minute detour round Kingston St Michael, a village which is barely built for cars, let alone buses, to pick up 3 16-year-olds. And they've turned 16 and they just think, well, the school bus is not for us anymore just because, so we're going to make this bus full of taxpayers who need to get to work late. And you go to James Gray and he does nothing, because Kingston St Michael, it's a rich town and he's rich. There's no other institution in the world where you would field a stereotype and expect to succeed the way that Tories choose posh, country-browned, tweed-wearing pseudo-aristocrats to be their MPs. I mean, it's like going to a Hollywood film studio, if you're a film producer, and saying, I want to make a cowboy film. You've got a gazillion desperados terrorising this town, and a sheriff that says you need to be out of town at high noon, and they have a showdown outside a saloon. What's the film studio going to say? Yeah, go for it. It's ridiculous. Because you can have any B road in Wiltshire with huge tyre shredding craters, and you can have care homes shutting, closing, being amalgamated, and yet, a new block for Chippenham College that looks like something from downtown Dubai. Go for it. Because we're all frantically trying to find ways to deny and distract ourselves from the fact that we're no longer a proactive, industrial, self-sufficient society. I mean, you don't have to vote if you don't want to. It's up to you. It's Christmas morning and your dad's bought you a Commodore 64, but instead of playing the games, you're frantically entering the Roger Frames cheat codes. And you always get those adverts saying, reminding Easy Like Sunday Morning types that they need to register to vote. And I just thought, what if the earth itself registered to vote? And because of the size of the thing, the mass of it, and the consciousness of all the animals, that one vote, whoever it voted for, would win the election. And it came to May 7th, and the Parliament of Trees elected Swamp Thing to go to, say, Shipton Moyne Post Office to vote, and the whole of the country is looking on expectantly. And well, obviously the guy votes for the Green Party, but because no one knows who the Green Party candidate is, the new Prime Minister just ends up being someone rubbish, like I don't know, Uncle Jack from Green Patrol, or the hippie teacher from Beavis and Butthead.